Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be answering the question, how many times should I write and read my script? I've had a few people ask this question and thank you so much for asking. I'm going to give clarity on this question because I usually answer to read it morning and evening and as many times during the day as you can, but this advice does depend on one thing. So I'm going to explain this. So a person can read their script 1,000 times and have absolutely no success, and yet another person can read it just once and have complete success. The reason why is because whether or not your scripting manifests or not does not depend on how many times you read the script. It depends on how well and how much you are able to get into the state of being of having that thing when you're reading your script. That's what it all depends on. So my advice to read it morning and evening and as many times through the day as you can, that advice is for the people who are still enjoying reading their script. Because if you're not enjoying reading your script, it means you are not getting into the state of being of having that thing, and that means you are doing absolutely nothing. Many people are in the mindset that if I just read my script 100 more times, it's going to come true. And so they're just reading their script for the sake of reading it because they think it's going to make it happen. And this is an absolute waste of time. Whether it comes true or not completely depends on how well you're able to get into the state of being of having that thing. So for the people who are able to do that and they're still enjoying it, and that's how you know whether you're getting into the state of being, is if you're enjoying it. For the people who can do that, I advise to read it as many times as you possibly can, especially morning and evening, because you are building up some serious magical momentum and you are also training yourself to be in that state of being of having that thing. So that advice is for those people who are still able to do that and are still enjoying their script. But for the ones who can only get into that state of being once and then they don't enjoy it or feel it anymore after that, my advice to them is not to carry on reading the script because there's no point, you aren't doing anything. So if you've been reading your script for a few months and it's now starting to feel like a chore, you need to stop reading it because you're not doing anything. And as I've exampled myself, you can have amazing success just reading a script once like I have. And then you can also have amazing success reading the same script for a few months just like I have. So you can see I've had success on both ends of the spectrum, and that is because it has nothing to do with how many times you read it. It's all about how much you can get into the state of being of having that thing. And oftentimes with things you care about less, you can really get into the state of being of having it the first time you read it. So oftentimes with things you care about less, you often only need to read it just once because you have no resistance, so you can fully go into it. And then after that, you just forget about it because you truly don't have any attachment, so you don't really care and you don't feel the need to read it again. But then other times, if you have more attachment to something, reading it more is sometimes what you need to do because you need to build up the feeling of having that thing and work through the resistance of the feeling of not having it. So if you want to know how many times to read your script, you just have to focus on whether or not you're enjoying it. If you're enjoying it, you're doing it properly, and you should read it as many times as you possibly can because you're building up that momentum and you're training yourself to be in that state. But the second you stop enjoying it, stop reading it because you're not doing anything anymore. You're just making yourself sick of that particular script. So that is my advice. I really hope this has helped you and I really hope this has given you clarity. As I've exampled on my channel, I've had success with reading it once and with reading it many times because it's not about that. It's about whether you're feeling it or not. So I hope this helped you. Thank you so much for the comments and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.